It's no secret that the nature of a firefighter career requires its candidates to be able to withstand a high physical demand. From the time that you say that you want to become a firefighter to the time that you retire as a firefighter, you're going to be challenged physically throughout your career. So perfect example, when you start testing for fire departments, the first physical requirement you're going to come across is the firefighter CPAT, which is our minimum physical requirement just to become eligible for those firefighter positions. And depending on the fire departments you pursue, you can have other physical requirements, whether that be a Biddle test or a burst test or whatever physical requirement that they have per their testing process. Then as you go through those testing processes and you're fortunate enough to be selected for a position within those organizations, they're going to put you through a fire academy. Whether it's 12 weeks or 24 weeks, you're going to be highly challenged physically throughout your fire academy. So after you graduate the fire academy, you swear into the fire service, then you actually are in the field as a firefighter where you're going to be continually challenged physically throughout your 25 plus year fire career. With the physical nature of a firefighter job, firefighters do everything. Lifting, twisting, pulling, dragging, lifting heavy objects, carrying heavy loads, firefighter PPE and SCBAs, hose lines, pulling hose off the truck. All these different movements on a day-to-day operation, whether it's training or we're actually in the field, it requires us to really be dialed in physically. So you as a candidate need to make sure that you can meet and exceed the physical demand of the job. So as for the question of how do I prepare physically for the job of a firefighter, I'm going to cover 3 topics that can help you prepare for your career. So as a disclaimer, I want to let you know that I can't cover everything in this video. I don't want it to be super long. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the important topics that I want to cover in regards to your preparation. So for the first topic, you need to make sure that you get on the fitness program or you have a fitness regimen that's going to keep you consistent and progressing for your physical development. When it comes to, fitness program or training regimens, I need you to understand something. Not everybody's the same. Not everybody starts at the same place. So you have beginners versus advanced people. You may have an injury you're dealing with, or you may have certain health complications. You got to make sure that you know what's best for you and that you understand your body and where you're at with things. And that's where you start when it comes to your preparation physically. When it comes to a training program in preparation for a firefighter career, I know what you're probably thinking. So what exactly should I be doing? Don't overthink. I want you to keep it simple. So think of the training program that you should engage in as that of an athlete. What we do as firefighters is very similar to athletes. So make sure that you're getting a little bit of everything in there. So to keep it simple, do all different types of training and all different types of exercises and continually challenge yourself. As I was going through the testing process and went through the fire academy and got on the job as a firefighter, CrossFit was a big thing, the whole functional movement. And there was really a divide between a lot of people versus, standard powerlifting versus, calisthenics versus CrossFit. And I never understood why that was a thing. Like, okay, well, CrossFit's better than this, or no, this is better than that. It really doesn't matter. Like, as long as you're doing a little bit of everything and you're constantly challenging yourself, your preparation is going to be good. And you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. So try not to get too far into the weeds with this. Just keep it very simple. Engage in all different types of training and all different types of exercise that's going to continually challenge you and help develop you physically. Perfect example, start with calisthenics, do some push-ups, some sit-up core and ab exercises, some pull-ups, some squats, some lunges. Especially if you're new to training, you can start developing, the comfort with movements and start, strengthening yourself, increasing your endurance in a safe manner because you're just moving your body weight. Next thing is plyometrics, box jumps, broad jumps, jump squats, whatever the case is, so you can develop that explosive nature of yourself. Because what we do as firefighters, it definitely transfers over to the career. There's also resistance training, which is extremely important to your physical development, especially in preparation for a firefighter career. We as firefighters lift heavy loads at times, whether we have high-rise packs on us with our firefighter PPE and our SCBA, whether we're, lifting a patient, whatever the case is. So getting into resistance training is extremely important. You're going to be building muscle, building endurance, and being able to, be comfortable and withstand heavy loads. There's also cardio, which is highly important. Just because you may be the biggest person or the strongest person doesn't mean that you're going to be the best fit for the job. If your cardio isn't on point, it's going to be tough for you to get through the firefighter testing process, especially to get through a fire academy and a fire career. So you got to make sure that you're very diligent about working on your cardio on a daily basis. The AHA requires that you have 150 minutes per week, which you're definitely going to have to exceed that, in your preparation. So make sure that you're really engaging in cardio and really taking pride in it. A lot of candidates I come across, cardio is one of their things that they can't stand. Find something that you enjoy, You don't necessarily have to go for a long run to engage in so-called cardio. It's like, no, get moving, get your heart rate up. If you like swimming, go swimming. If you're a beginner, just start walking. And then as you progress, you can start challenging yourself doing other things. Start with doing something that you so-called enjoy and then progress on. So we covered the categories of calisthenics, plyometric, resistance training, and cardio. So when it comes to your training preparation, it's not just about, getting out there and working on your cardio and working on your strength training. What you want to do is you want to start incorporating some actual specific firefighter skills within your training as well. So practice how you play. Remember, I said that the firefighter career or firefighter training progress is very similar to that of an athlete. Athletes train just like how I was just explaining, doing a little bit of everything, but they also train for specific skills. Perfect example for the sport of football. Yeah, they lift a lot of weights and stuff, but they also drag and pull sleds, work on agility, work on ladders, all those things to help develop their specific skills for their specific sport. So the same thing for the fire service. What you want to do is you want to research, what skills do I need to develop myself in so I can prepare for, the career of a firefighter? Perfect example is start with our firefighter skills video. Check out our firefighter hose lay so you can kind of see the different movements that you should start working on. For example, pulling a fire hose off of a fire engine and dragging it to an occupancy on fire. Perfect example to simulate that is, get a tire with a rope attached to it and drag it, or get a speed sled and drag that with a load on it. That way you can start developing, that movement for yourself and strengthening that skill. So when you get on the job of a firefighter, that's something that you're going to be dialed in with. Another example would be forced entry. We as firefighters have to take a sledgehammer at times and break entry into like a door, for example, to get into an occupancy. So what you want to do is you want to go out and buy a 10-pound sledgehammer if you don't have access to one already. Get something that you can strike, like a tire or some surface that will allow you to strike it safely, and start practicing that movement so you can get comfortable with, striking with a sledgehammer, because that's a huge part of the skills that we need to have in our arsenal as firefighters. So those are just quick examples of how you practice, how you play. Remember, I said the training should be very similar to that of an athlete. So encompassing a little bit of everything so you can progress in your physical development. As for this category of a training program or a fitness regimen, there's two things I want to leave you with that encompasses everything, and it's highly important, okay? So the first one is progressive overload. So I don't want you to overthink it. You can research progressive overload if you like, but just to keep it simple, think about progressive overload as, you gradually challenging yourself over time. So remember, I talked about the difference between, a beginner and someone advanced. Everyone starts at different places. As a beginner, calisthenics and body weight movement is going to be ideal because it allows you to safely practice certain techniques like your squatting, your lunges, your push-ups, your pull-ups, your core and ab exercises, so you can safely develop yourself and progress onto, working under a load when it comes to resistance training. So there's several ways to achieve progressive overload when it comes to your training. Manipulating your sets and reps. How much rest you have between sets. What's your movement like in a given set? Are you going fast? Are you going down slow, working on your eccentric movements or whatever you're doing? You can manipulate all these different factors and more to help yourself achieve progressive overload. Remember what I told you in the beginning. Do a little bit of everything when it comes to your training. That way you can achieve progressive overload through that alone. If you were just to do the same exercises, the same workout routine all the time, yeah, you're going to develop, especially if you're a beginner, but then there's going to be a point to where you plateau. That's why you got to change it up, increase the load, do more sets, do more repetitions, or whatever the case is. The point is you really want to make sure that you're achieving progressive overload in your training so you can prepare yourself physically for the high physical demand of the job. So the second thing that I want to leave you with within this category is recovery. You really need to know yourself, okay? Listen to your body. If your body's telling you, man, I'm sore, hey, take an active recovery day or take a day off to allow yourself to rest, okay? If you're not allowing your body and your muscles to recover, how do you expect your body to perform at its best for you? So the second topic that's gonna help you prepare for the physical demand of the job is nutrition. This is something that is highly overlooked by a lot of candidates out there, and many people don't truly understand nutrition. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go out there and research, research macro and micronutrients, and calories and how do calories influence performance, and look up, different food sources. That's the first thing you want to do. That way you can kind of just get, service level basic information so you can start developing, your understanding of nutrition. The second thing you want to do is learn about yourself, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, what food items do you like, what don't you like? Do you have any autoimmune issues that you need to deal with or any food allergies? Do you know how to cook? If you don't know how to cook, get online and figure out how to cook. Get in the kitchen and practice. It's going to be huge when it comes to your career as well because we prepare a lot of meals together. And you as a new firefighter, you're definitely going to be a part of that. Even outside of cooking, when you're not home and you don't have a home cooked meal to eat and you're out there and you're busy, learning to make better decisions so you don't hinder the progress that you made in your training. So we talked about researching about nutrition, learning about yourself. So the next thing you want to do is set goals for yourself. So obviously the ultimate goal is to prepare yourself for the high physical demand of the job. Next, what personal goals do you have? Are you a candidate that needs to lose a little bit of weight or gain a little bit of weight? Or are you just looking to maintain and build muscle? Whatever the case is, you truly need to understand how calories and food sources and training regimens and programs can influence those goals. Okay, set those for yourself. So perfect example, if I'm a candidate that needs to lose a little bit of weight to be more comfortable in my shoes, I understand based off my research that I need to be in a calorie deficit to achieve that goal. So I got to make sure that I understand how many calories I need on a daily and weekly basis, and make sure that I understand that so I can fulfill those needs in my training program to help me reach that goal of losing a little bit of weight. So perfect example, what you want to do is you want to go online and go to a calorie calculator and input your information and figure out exactly what you need to achieve that goal. So once I have that information and I know the amount of calories that I need to intake on a daily basis to help me achieve my goal of losing weight, I want to get on apps like MyFitnessPal and start tracking all the food items I eat. That way I know I'll be on track to achieving my goal. One disclaimer I need to put out there is when it comes to, inputting your information on a calorie calculator, just know that it's not going to be 100% accurate. That's just like a rough estimate that's going to allow you to kind of work towards your goal. You got to be very diligent about tracking your progress throughout your training and make sure that you are achieving your goal. Like tracking your body weight and body composition and tracking your performance and recovery, making sure that you're tracking all those things, ensuring that you're progressing toward your goal. And also with that calorie calculator not being 100% accurate, the same is going to be for you inputting your information on apps like MyFitnessPal. Yeah, you may input, all the food items you eat in a given day, and it gives you a certain amount of calories. That's not going to be 100% accurate. So you have to be very diligent about not only tracking, your information on MyFitnessPal, but making sure that you're really tracking all those things that we just talked about. I need you to truly understand something. There's a lot of bad advice and a lot of bad information out there on the internet. So as you're searching for nutrition information online, make sure that it comes from a credible source and check that source with another source and make sure that information is accurate so it can help you in your progress and your development and your training. When it comes to nutrition, I don't want you to overthink things, okay? Keep it very simple for yourself. When it comes to food items to consume items from every category if you can. The key is to have a well-balanced diet and make that diet a lifestyle and be consistent with it. And the third and final topic is the mental and emotional side of your training. This is a highly important category that you really need to take to heart, okay? Developing the skills to adapt and overcome and cope with, the challenges and struggles and adversities within your life. This is something that you've been developing since you were born, going through your life and dealing with your own struggles and challenges and adversities. So it's a skill that you continually need to make sure that you're progressing in. It's something that can be achieved obviously through your physical fitness, working on progressive overload, constantly challenging your body and challenging yourself. Think about it. The days that you're super sore or, you don't feel as well, or you just don't feel like going to the gym or you feel like training at all, that ability to say, hey, I got to do this, you're already developing that mental side of your training. And it's going to continue as you progress throughout your fitness program. And also you want to make sure that you have outlets. If fitness is one of your outlets, and make sure that you continue to do that so you can decompress and cope and deal with all your adversities and challenges. Utilize other outlets that work for you. If you like to go fishing, if you like to go hang out with family, if you like to read a book, find out what outlets work for you that allow you to step back, reflect, decompress, unload the stress, and just help your mental and emotional side of your training and your fitness. I don't want to go too far in the weeds and down the rabbit hole when it comes to the mental and emotional side of fitness and life. Go out there and research and learn a little bit more about it. It will be highly valuable, not for your only current position, but especially when you get on the career as a firefighter. It's no secret that we as firefighters endure a lot. There's a lot of stress on the job. Even just getting to the job is highly stressful, but when you get on the job, you have promotionals, you see tragic and horrific scenes. You get wore down from call volume. There's a lot of different things that happen. So you got to make sure that you're really dialed in when it comes to the mental and emotional side of your fitness and your training preparation. All in all, those are the three primary categories that I wanted to cover to help you prepare for the high physical demand of a job. With those three categories, there's so much information that I could have covered, but it would just be a massive video. But I just wanted to give you a brief overview and encourage you to go out there and research further onto the topics. If you have further questions when it comes to these topics, make sure that you drop it down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you. All in all, stay consistent out there and I'll catch you on the next one. Good luck, future firefighter.